welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nicola and I'm a mum of two and I make lifestyle videos. And I've been doing lots of Christmassy videos recently, and I thought today, and I did mention this actually a few weeks back, right back at the start when I started doing Christmas videos, that I was going to do my gingerbread recipe, and my friend kindly reminded me that I hadn't done it yet, so I thought today would be a good day to do it because, well, it is just over a week until Christmas, and in fact it will be a week till Christmas Eve when you watch this video. So I thought I would show you how I make my gingerbread and share the recipe with you. It's not my recipe, it's one I found on Pinterest. It's supposed to be the Disneyland gingerbread recipe. I don't know how true that is. It tastes pretty amazing, it smells fantastic when you're cooking it, so, and it does smell like Disneyland, so if it is, then great. I'm certainly not going to confirm or deny that it definitely is the Disneyland recipe, but if it is, great. It tastes amazing anyway. This is definitely gingerbread and not ginger biscuit. And I always get confused, well, not confused, but disagree, I suppose, with Paul Hollywood when I'm watching Bake Off, because when they do Biscuit Week and he talks about gingerbread and gingerbread should have a snap. Now, I disagree. I would say that's a ginger biscuit and not gingerbread. Gingerbread, the clue is in the name. It's bread. It should be soft, as far as I'm concerned anyway. So this is gingerbread and it's slightly soft and sort of more cookie, you know, soft, gooey cookie-like, as opposed to ginger biscuit, which has a snap. So I'm going to show you what I do, and you know, I'd love to know if you're going to make this recipe, and let me know how it goes if you do make it. And yeah, let's crack on. Right, so this recipe you can make the mix and then put it in the fridge and keep it for up to a couple of days. So if you start making it and then you want to just put it in the fridge and then actually do the biscuits at a later date, then you can do. You can save it. I'm going to put it in for like an hour today, but you can put it in there for up to a couple of days. And that's sometimes nice if you want to do the baking bit, like the cutting out the shapes and everything with children, but you want to actually do the mixing and everything else yourself and not make too much of a mess. Although I make a fair amount of mess even without children involved. So yeah, so if you want to do that, you can do. You could just make it up and then put it in the fridge, and then when you've got time, you can get it out with your children or friends or whatever and decorate the biscuits and bake them at a later date. So this is what you will need to make this recipe. Okay, you'll have to excuse the light. I'm struggling. My kitchen is clearly in the wrong place in the house to film this, but okay, so for this recipe you will need a quarter of a cup of unsalted butter, half a cup of brown sugar, it says in the recipe some fancy dark molasses. Well, I couldn't find, it says not to use blackstrap molasses or cooking molasses or light molasses, so I chose treacle. I couldn't find molasses, but I know that it's the same thing, so I've chosen black treacle. 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, some baking soda, that's a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of ground cloves, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 3 teaspoons of ground ginger, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a quarter teaspoon of ground cardamom, and half a cup of water. So it's a fairly straightforward recipe. Basically, we're mixing in the dry ingredients and separately the wet ingredients, and then putting them together, and Bob's your uncle. So I'm going to do that now.
What a feeling, now it's time for Christmas. And Christmas is my favorite time of year.
Okay, so that's what the butter and sugar mixed together looks like now. And obviously it's a bit sticky and hard. So now I'm going to add the treacle. It's just half a cup of treacle. I'm going to add that into there and then mix that together. This is the messy bit.
Big and small, and now it's time to have a merry holiday. What a feeling when it's time for Christmas. Let's sing a carol and we'll bring it here.
This is what the mixture looks like now. Remember, this is going to make a dough, so it's quite dry. It's not a super like runny mixture. So I'm going to mix together all the rest of the dry ingredients now and then add it to this a little bit at a time.
the snowflakes fall. I can hear the sleigh bells call. They're saying it's time to have a merry
Right, so I've got the two mixtures here. I didn't actually end up adding the cardamom, ground cardamom, because I bought cardamom pods because I couldn't get ground cardamom. I was going to whiz them up in my blender, but it didn't work, so I've just left them out. It was only half a teaspoon, so I'm sure it won't make a huge amount of difference. So I'm going to add this a little bit at a time to this mixture, alternating with the water, which is half a cup of water. If you think it is too dry, you can always add a little bit more water at the end. Sometimes it does feel a little bit too dry, so just play it by ear and, you know, however you like it. This is hard work. This mixture is not wet, so adding the quite a very dry flour to quite a dry mixture is hard work, but we have to make a nice dough, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end.
Let's sing a carol and we'll bring it here. Let's sing a carol and we'll bring it here. While the snow is gently falling, we keep busy until late, 'cause tomorrow keeps on calling, and the red man will not wait.
Okay, so I've got a little bit more flour and a little bit more water to add, and this is what it currently looks like, and my arms are aching. So it's like a crumbly dough at the moment, so I'm going to add the rest of the water now, and it'll make it a bit sloppy, and then I'll add the rest of the flour and mix it with my hands to make it into a nice biscuity dough.
How they're headed for our house, and the radio keeps singing what the season's all about. From upstairs we hear the laughter from the ones that waited long for the socks to fill, but they won't until the birth of Christmas Day.
So here we go, here is my gingerbread dough. It is very firm, as you can see. You just have to keep mixing it. I did add a little tiny bit more water, but I didn't need a huge amount more, and it's well mixed. So I'm going to wrap that now in cling film and put it in the fridge. It is now much later in the day, and the dough has been in the fridge for a good 2 or 3 hours, I think. So I'm going to roll it out now and bake it. So I need to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to roll out the dough and cut out my gingerbread pastry.
We keep busy until late, 'cause tomorrow keeps on calling, and the red man will not wait. So we better get to move on. Let's bring on the evergreen. Keep the chimney clean, you know what I mean, 'cause tomorrow is the day. I can hear the sleigh bells ringing, how they're headed for our house, and the radio keeps singing what the season's all about. From upstairs we hear the laughter from the ones that waited long for the socks to fill, but they won't until the birth of Christmas Day.
So here we go. Here are my finished gingerbread, so biscuits. They are biscuits, but the finished gingerbread that taste more like bread. Some of them are slightly thicker than others, so as you may have seen, I was trying to roll it out because the middle was obviously thicker. I don't know why. So that one, I don't know whether I might take that one off actually and put it back. Yeah, I think I might do another one of those. That's better. So they need to be about that thick. So I think it's about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch thick. So those are all ready. I've got plenty of dough left to make some more. So I'm going to stick these ones in now. They go in for about 8 to 10 minutes. So I will show you what they look like when they come out. And here they are out of the oven. And oh my goodness, they smell phenomenal. They smell absolutely amazing. I could just eat one now, but I'm going to let them cool. And then I'm going to decorate them. And I'm going to decorate them using royal icing. I've never before, when I've made these before, I've always bought like tubes of icing and decorated them that way. But this time I've bought some ready-made royal icing, but I've bought some piping bags so that I can have a go at piping them myself. Could be a complete disaster, but we will see. I'm looking forward to giving it a go. But you can see that they look nice right now. Whether they'll look nice when I finish piping them, I don't know. Right, I've got another batch here I'm going to put in. As you can see, they change colour, so they start off quite dark, and then when they come out, they're quite pale. Much more sort of gingerbread colour when they come out. Okay, biscuits are now cool, so I'm just going to ice them. So this is the royal icing that I bought. It is just from Tesco, and it's not going to focus on it because there we go. It's just this royal icing. I don't know whether you can colour it, because normally I would put like a red nose on my reindeer, or maybe some other colours on, maybe black eyes and things. So I don't know whether you can colour it. I might have a go, but I'm going to just do it for white for now. So I've got my piping bag. I have never done this before with a piping bag. I've always just used, as I mentioned before, like a pen thing. So I'm going to give this a go. See if I'm any good at it. So if you came to this video to see beautifully decorated gingerbread, then you might have come to the wrong place. I have a newfound respect for anyone who can pipe icing, because it is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, and these do not look great. I will definitely say, when I did these before, when I've done these in previous years and I've used the little pens, they are so much easier. I did have a bit of a few of the pens left over from last year. I think they're probably out of date, so I just did try one biscuit just to show you the difference. I'm going to chuck that one away, but because the stuff is out of date, so I've chucked it now. But I've just shown, just to show you the difference between the piped icing and then the hand pen icing, which is so much easier. And then the piping bag came with a nozzle, so I tried it with the nozzle, but it was really big, and the ones I started doing just look absolutely shocking. So they did get better as they went on, but they're not great. But hey, they taste amazing, and that is all that matters. So here we go. This is my effort. I think from a distance they look quite nice, look. But yeah, close up, not so good. So I've got Christmas trees and snowflakes and stars, gingerbread men. These reindeer I've done by turning the small gingerbread man up the other way. So if you can see, that way up, it's a gingerbread man. Turn it that way, give it some antlers, some eyes and a little mouth, and suddenly it's a reindeer. So if I've had to show you, that's the one I've piped, and this is the one I did with the pen. A lot neater and a lot easier and a lot quicker. I didn't have any red, unfortunately, because I would have given him a nice red nose. So yeah, these ones dry much better though, the piped icing. These ones stay wet for a lot longer. But they are fine, and they taste amazing and are really nice. And these are the dodgy ones I did to start with. OMG. Well, they'll be fine. Somebody will eat them. But these ones look a little bit more beautiful. So that is the end of this gingerbread video. Let me know if you make any of this gingerbread, or if you have your own gingerbread recipe that you use, and if there's anything else that you like to bake at Christmas time. This is about it for me for baking. I don't do a lot. I cook. I'd always do the Christmas dinner, but baking I'm not a huge fan of, but I always make gingerbread at Christmas time, and this recipe. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach with our friends.